Hello and welcome to the Passenger Seat Podcast, a podcast designed to fill your passenger seat with chat about classic cars, all recorded from my 1968 Morris Minor Peggy. Today we're going to be doing a little interview on the podcast. It's going to be one of a couple of them that I'm hoping to have coming up over the rest of this season, and we're starting off with a really fantastic one. We're going to be joined by Sophie Bainbridge, who is the founder of a clothing company called Stanley Biggs Clothiers, and she herself has a fantastic background with historic cars, with historic motoring, particularly pre-war stuff, and a lot of that has fed into some of the way that she works with her designs and where she really tests out the durability of the clothing that she produces. It's a really fantastic thing to see in terms of a clothing company that is made in the UK, using UK based materials and producing really high quality stuff that stands to be as durable as the cars many of us enjoy. A lot of the time when we're working on our cars, we're constantly looking for really high quality parts and things like that to make sure that when we replace something, we are replacing it with something that is going to last as long as the last piece that you are taking out. And unfortunately, that is something that we are struggling with within the kind of car parts situation. But to see somebody who's creating clothing that is designed to hold up in the same way clothing from the era that many of our cars is from held up and continues to hold up is a really great thing to see. And of course, if you are looking to make some investment pieces into your wardrobe so that if you are enjoying open top motoring, you are kept warm and dry, or if you are looking to just kind of have some fantastic pieces that will last a long time alongside your cars that are lasting a really long time, then Stanley Biggs is probably the place for you to start that investigation into some new pieces for your wardrobe. So it's been really lovely to chat to her, and we had a really fantastic time. I had a great time going around the Newark showroom, exploring what they've got there, seeing how everything works, getting to see one of their cars, and having a lovely chat with her and her husband. And it's been a really great opportunity to talk to her and find out more about some of her brilliant motoring memories, and also a bit more about the brand. So I hope you really enjoyed today's interview, and I will leave the link to their website down in the description, of course. So without further ado, let's invite Sophie in. I'm joined now by Sophie Bainbridge of Stanley Biggs Clothiers. Wow. And let's start with your car history, because I feel that fed into the creation of the business a little bit.
Yes. Hello. Well, firstly, thank you for having me. It did, yeah. So my car history, chronologically, started when I was a wee lassie. So my granddad was a car lover. Yeah. And he didn't have an old car when I knew him, but he was obsessed with them. Yeah. And he would show me these old photographs of himself. Yeah. He was in the RAF, just at the tail end of the war. Yeah. One of the first national servicemen, actually. Yeah. And I still have this photograph, and on the back of the photo he's made a little note, and it's him leaning out a GMC American truck, and it's very strange. We've got exactly the same hairline. Very odd. But on the back, he's written, "Stolen from the Yanks." Oh, that's so fun. So from a very young age, I've always had, these
growing
old
up with
photos,
these stories and these, the experiences and things like that.
Yeah, and Grandad had, he was a fire extinguisher engineer, of all things, post-war, and he had his own little van. Yeah. Which was a Morris van at some point. And I've got this lovely photo of him in his I don't think I think it's an M55 jacket. It's an American jacket.
Yeah.
Surplus jacket, and which I have. I inherited, and that he used to wear that, with his cap. And
so obviously these
dapper.
cars were probably his everyday experience.
Yes.
But to you, when you were a kid, these were mythical things that you didn't really see much of.
Well, I saw a black and white photograph,
Yeah.
and then really with that, Grandad was a huge influence on myself, and his storytelling was out of this world,
Yeah.
So I mean, my dad inherited that ability as well, so
Yeah.
he would be telling me these stories, and I mean, I was convinced for a very long time that Jurassic Park existed.
Amazing.
There was, a mosquito. They found it in the.
It's just a documentary.
Completely believable.
Yeah.
And they were making a film about it. So that's how convincing they both were. But my dad did have a love for cars, not the same as my granddad, but he then had a opportunity to restore or own and get restored.
Yeah.
Which is the knowledge of my dad's vehicle knowledge, that's how far it went.
Yeah.
But he had an Austin Healey, and he rescued it from Spain. It was a burnt out wreck, I think, from some racing there.
Gosh.
And so I saw this vehicle come to life, and
literally like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang happening in front of you. This burnt out vehicle turning up at your house, and then having to
it just disappears
into a workshop somewhere, and then comes back out looking incredible.
And it was this beautiful car. It's still on the road, actually.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm trying to find the owners of it. So
what is it? Tell us.
Oh, you're going to ask me the reg number. I'll have to confirm.
Okay.
But it no longer resembles
anything that
we had.
Yeah.
So it's
but
still the same
nice
colour.
To get in touch with them, because you've probably got photos and stuff like that. Because I managed to get in touch with Peggy's previous owners.
Right.
And it was really interesting for them to see where we got to, but also I got photos and stuff of their ownership.
It's lovely to do that though, because you can almost go back in time with it. And find out. What did they do? Did they go on holiday with it?
Yeah.
Or, did.
So what did you do with the Healey?
Well, my dad thoroughly enjoyed it for a while.
Yeah.
And I said before, wasn't a
mechanically minded,
mad, mechanically minded individual. And he sold it, which I never forgave him for.
No.
Still haven't. Because in my head that's mine.
Yeah.
That should have been mine. And I've always had a huge soft spot for Healeys. So anyone, if I ever see an Austin Healey, I'm straight over there, talking to the owner.
They're
how long have you had this?
Cars,
can I have a sit? All of the rest of it. Incredibly warm though, because the engine is so far back.
Yeah.
So it's actually not the most enjoyable car to drive in the height of summer.
Yeah.
And I think that was the one thing that put my dad off. We had a lovely holiday.
An open top car that you can't really use in the height of summer because it's so warm.
Took it to Norfolk, thinking it was going to be lovely.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I kind of accepted that's what it was. But Dad was like, oh no, it's too hot. So there was a bit of a lull.
Yeah.
After that, and I just had a healthy appreciation, which sort of went into other parts of history, aviation, and collecting militaria. That was where one of my first boyfriends had a Morris commercial 1.5 ton truck.
Wow.
And I learnt to drive in that. Which was double declutching.
Experience. Yeah,
it was a fun
clearance and like the size of it. Like you must be able to drive basically anything after you've driven that.
It was great. I loved it. I mean, the seat didn't go close enough to the steering wheel
and things like that.
So I've always been one of the. That's my experience of driving an old car. Is or majority of them is cushions and blankets.
Yeah.
Or someone's coat or jumper shoved behind me so I can get a bit more closer to the pedals. And yes, so I learnt to drive that, and I didn't pass my test for about a decade.
Wow.
So this was all off-road and things, but and I was still in touch with my granddad at the time. He had dementia eventually, so but it was before then, and I was chatting with him on the phone, and I said, I've learnt to drive, Grandad. He said, oh, fantastic. I said, you wouldn't believe what I learnt to drive in there. I told him. He went, I learnt to drive in one of those in 1944.
Oh, wow.
So that's always been. So I had it, so that was great. That was probably, most weekends we'd be going to a living history event. Yeah. And we would be the last ones there, the last ones back home. It went 40 miles an hour at a push. Yeah. It had a hole in the roof that you could stand up in and survey and everything, which was good fun. Yeah. And especially at those events where you've got like a huge field of stuff going on. Like your viewpoint of everything that was going on at those sorts of things must have been incredible. And I think I mean for me as well, because my first experience, my dad sort of tried it out and didn't like it, that kind of thing. So it was more of a nice thing to look at. Yeah. Whereas this experience, we drove it everywhere. Yeah. And we would. I used to make it a habit if we crossed the bridge at Dartford. Yeah. I would stand up and look out. Survey and go over the Queen Elizabeth Bridge, I think. Yeah. So it was that kind of thing where it taught me to not be afraid to use these things. Because that's a car, it's a vehicle with a lot of limitations. The size of it, the speed of it, all of those sorts of things, which I think some people, when they come into classic ownership, aren't fully prepared for. Maybe your dad is in that category a little bit, in terms of you've bought a car and you've seen other people using them and things, but you're not prepared for the fact that, I'm either going to have to learn to do these things and work on it myself, or be prepared to pay for it. I'm going to have to learn to leave the house a bit earlier and things like that. Set you up well for pre-war motoring as well, because it's stuff like this is really usable every day. But to be prepared to go at the speeds of pre-war cars and things, you were well set up with that. Yeah, I think that's the main thing that we did when we weren't going to an event. We were down at where it was based, working on it. Yeah, and it was a communal effort. Yeah, there was other vehicles that were sort of part of that group. Yeah, and we all went down together, and yes, the owner was there, and it was kind of his responsibility, but we all accepted that if we're going to be using this vehicle as we are, and if the tents that we're using are being transported in the back of the truck, and people's kit and food and all the rest of it, we've all got to chip in and help, and that's really, that's where I learnt that the majority of the time you're working on them. Yeah. And if you're not working on them, you've got to fully accept that they will bite back. Yeah. When you least when you least want it. Yeah. But yeah. So I think for myself, it was. I mean, that I would have been about 15, 16. Yeah. Around then. So, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. My boyfriend's grandfather at the time, he was ex-Signals, and he was a civil engineer, retired, and there was this he was a lovely man, and he was so inclusive of myself, and there was the gearbox needed changing on the what we call it, the Moggy, the Morris, and he said, right, I've arranged for you to take it down to my old business, and all the lifts and the ramps and you name it, everything was there. So it was a very, an easy process. It was still obviously long-winded and what have you. And he said, right, come on, Sophie, you're going to get involved, and do you know why this is, and X, Y, Z, and he taught me a very, very good lesson, which I think the first base lesson with any mechanicking or engineering or anything like that, it's a process of elimination. Yeah. So you go, right, your knee bone's connected to your thigh bone, and you go back and you find out the source and the problem, and then you can eliminate. And he says you don't need to be a mechanic to learn that.
No.
You know, and you just talk through the problem.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah.
So was that the Morris Commercial, or was that the Morris Minor that you later got?
So I still have the Morris Minor.
Yep.
But
the gearbox work.
The gearbox
was
was the Morris Commercial. Yeah. So I'd have been I'm 16 years old, or so, and so 20 something.
Yeah.
Something years ago now, but then I went to uni.
Yep.
The only thing I had was a push bike.
Yep.
Which consistently broke down. I'm not a push bike.
But again, process of elimination.
Process of elimination. It's just I should just get a car. that was the conclusion I came to with that. But I kind of lost. I didn't really have any friends that had vehicles, so I kind of lost touch a little with that. I still pined after my Austin Healey that I never actually owned. And then fast forward, I then started to get to the point where I thought I can afford, or I have space.
Yeah.
I'm going to start thinking about it. And my husband, Gary, had his Jeep, which he still has. He had that from when he was 10.
Wow.
And that's the one that we're going to the desert in.
Yes. What's the account for people to follow you on that?
That's called Geek of History.
Because you're doing loads of work to it at the moment. And
we are, yes.
Later this year, you're going to the desert in all of its desert gear.
Yes.
So you've got that at the moment.
We've got the Jeep.
You've got the Hillman that lives at Stanley Biggs.
At the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Hillman is, my husband's car.
Yeah.
He's always wanted one.
Yeah.
And that particular one he's known about for a long time.
Yeah.
It's actually bought down the road.
Oh, wow.
We restored that last year.
Yeah.
And that is his car.
Yeah.
I can use it whenever I like, which is great. The best kind of car is someone else's car. So you go, I've really enjoyed that. You can go and do all the work. That was another lesson I learned. We also have a Morris Minor.
Yeah.
A little earlier than yours. Little gutless, small gutless as well. And I now have an Austin 7, which is an Ulster body.
Yeah.
That's being done at the minute. And what else have we got? That's it.
So that beginning of having the access to the Morris Commercial, all those stories and stuff, really spiraled into something.
It's become a problem.
Yeah.
And a storage problem as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's every
every car lover's problem.
It is, and if you're wanting to get into cars as well, it's probably the first thing you need to consider is, do I have space for it? Not necessarily storing it inside is much better for it, but do you have space to work on it? And but I don't think that should put you off from trying. If you really want to, you make it happen. And these things are used to be.
There's lots of schemes out there now that will give you that test, like the Borrow a Classic scheme and starter motor and things like that give you that access. And a lot of clubs, if you approach them, will try and help you out with getting some experience with them before you, especially with that pre-war stuff that does feel like quite a big jump for some people. It's not necessarily as scary as some people think it is, because you do all sorts of interesting stuff with your Jeep and the Hillman.
Oh gosh, yeah, and I think the other thing as well, I mean, I'm not a mechanic.
Yeah.
I eliminate problems. I'll go through that process. So I'm lucky because Gary and I are a good team.
Yeah.
I keep my head on and go, right, okay, talk to me, tell me, pretend I'm an alien, explain.
Talk me through what's happening. Okay, can we eliminate this? Can we eliminate that?
As he talks it through, it's very often he'll go, oh, it's that's the problem. So that's really, and from being around them and, sort of going, oh, that happened last time and that was the problem. So I've picked up things like that, but my knowledge of mechanicking does not go that far beyond. You know, I'm far more experienced driving, or navigating, and I think that's people need to realise that you don't necessarily need to own a car to enjoy it. It's not just about the driving it. But with a 30s car or an earlier car, there is less to go wrong. There's less to understand. And I think people now, they just think, oh, it was 100 years ago. Is a completely different. You think, no, the concept is still there. It's now. I mean, I opened the bonnet of my Mini and I don't know what I'm doing. I've got no idea.
So I've taken this to like some guide and brownie units and like shown them some really basic mechanics, and you open the bonnet and they go, that looks so weird, like, because they might have seen inside their parents' car or whatever that is them on, and they're like, you can see everything and you can get to everything, and
Exactly.
And with the 30s car, that's almost even more so the case, because you can often just take the whole bonnet off. And you've just got both sides of access all the way down.
And I think, and if you do want to get into something like that, it sort of strips the noise away. Because that's the trouble now with particularly, we all want comfort and all the rest of it. But you're thinking, the more you bolt onto something, the more things will go wrong. And if you keep things simple, which they were far simpler at the time. And as long as things are well documented, I mean, you'll go into whatever vehicle you opt to buy. You'll go into these nuances where you think, oh well, yeah, but in 1935 they changed it from this to this, and then they didn't change,
this and all that,
and all of that, and that's how that's just learning as you go, and there's I think there is an element where you just think, well, we'll just try it. If you break down, it doesn't matter if you break down 2 miles down the road or 200 miles. As long as you've got breakdown cover and you're safe. And you've done your preparation, and you think, well, I've put oil and water in it. Suck, bang, blow, isn't it? However far you get, and if you do break down because something else has gone wrong, you think, well, you've had the experience. And I think that's the main thing. It's normally when we break down, I'll go, oh, that was such a good time, or that went wrong, but that was so funny, or we had 3 hours.
That's where a lot of the stories come from.
That's it.
So tell us about some of your adventures.
My most recent was the Measham Rally. That I did as a navigator. And my first time. And I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it.
So the Measham Rally is a VSCC event that happens overnight. It goes from Stonehurst Farm in Leicestershire.
At the minute.
And then you follow maps and have to hit certain times.
So it's a timed rally.
Which isn't a speed rally. Like it's not get there as fast as you can.
You have to get there at the right time. Otherwise you'll be penalised either side. You're too slow or too fast. And there's various checkpoints along the way. And as a navigator, there's different levels, different classes. So you might be given the map, and then you have to follow that map, which is a challenge anyway, because it is pitch black. The occasion that we did, it was so foggy, you couldn't see you couldn't see the road, that kind of thing. And of course, you're in an older car, the lights aren't full beam and all the rest of it. So we were in an open top car, we were in the Hillman. I didn't start in the Hillman, I started in a Singer.
We'll gloss over why that didn't make it to the end.
But that didn't make it. But I was able to jump in to the back, which was not the most comfortable. 5 hours in the same position. I actually had just an inkling of what it must have been like for an air gunner in a Lancaster
all cramped
just
up,
in the same
sat
position,
there waiting.
I had my Irving on as well, so I had
Yeah.
this on, and about 10 layers underneath, navigating with a light.
Yeah.
Vehicle going like this and bumping, and I was right, okay, there should be a turning on the left. So I loved it, absolutely loved it. And the navigator is actually the most important
Absolutely,
person in that regard.
And that communication between a navigator
yes.
and a driver, in terms of them, the driver reacting and taking the information and applying it to what they can see versus what the navigator can see.
Because you can't look up, you can't look around, because you've got to keep your eyes on the map. And and very often as well, the reality of it is that you've been given too many coordinates to sort it, because you only have like half an hour before you're given the map, half an hour before you go, with all the coordinates, so you don't actually have all the time you're very often you're working out, so you think, oh, okay, there's a bit of a quiet spot here, or it's dead straight for the 2 minutes or whatever it might be. I'll quickly look at the other coordinates and see where we are at point 30. In an open top car, the maps are like this. I mean, I ended up ripping mine in half because I would have lost it out the back, and it was damp as well, so by the end of it, it was just rags. But it was such a fantastic experience.
And adventures like that have probably fed into a little bit of what you work on and design with Stanley Biggs.
Definitely. Well, the jumpers came into their own.
Yes.
so I had, I mean, pretty much this.
Yeah.
And then I had a prestige suit, which was one of our very early productions.
Yeah.
Which we are working on again. People keep asking. But
so tell us a little bit about how Stanley Biggs started.
Well, Stanley Biggs started as a follow-on from another business that runs under my husband's name.
Yeah.
So Gary started Old Time Design Company.
Yeah.
And they do what we do, reproduction, sort of second wall reproduction. So accuracy, for reproducing that particular thing exactly or as close as possible.
Because you've got a fantastic collection of original stuff that
yes.
you then can use to
That's it, yeah.
reference.
So we're lucky. We've got, an archive basically where we can dip in and go, oh, well, we'll just, we've got to redesign it, and there's a lot more work involved, but we've got the actual item. We can look at it and go, well, it's this measurement and it's that and it's this font, and Gary's an ex-sign writer, and graphic designer, so he can do all of that.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is, sort of printed badges and what have you. So he started doing that, and off the back of that, I said, well, I want to go self-employed eventually.
Yeah.
And we started coming up with projects that could happen.
Yeah.
Under the Old Time Design banner, and it became obvious that what we wanted to do would be more appropriate under a different company name.
It's like this, almost the civilian side of it, which is completely different and is hitting a completely different market.
That's it. And simply put, when you are doing something so niche as creating that particular item, it can only be that. Yeah. But you could, in the back of your mind, which was happening, we were, looking at a jumper, which is essentially what happened. We were looking at a jumper design and going, well, that would actually be nice in this colour as well, but that's not right, because it's got to be for the Second World War, it's got to be for the army or whatever. So I said, well, actually, if you've got that design, you could do it in another colour, but if you did that, you'd be diluting what Old Time Design was about, which was authentic reproductions, accuracy. So what we did is took those authentic, accurate, high quality designs that we had and extended them into a range. And that's where Stanley Biggs came from. The name came from a family namesake. So my great grandmother was a Biggs. And when I visited Arnhem for the first time, I was completely overwhelmed by what happened there in the battle.
Yeah.
I'd only really seen Bridge Too Far, and that's where my knowledge sort of started and ended.
Yeah.
And we went to the cemetery, and I would do this every time. And I think, okay, look for my family names, and started researching the units that those namesakes
Yeah.
were part of.
Yeah.
And Stanley Biggs was one. And to my delight, there was video footage, there was first-hand accounts.
Wow.
There was quite a few bits and pieces, just from first glance, on Stanley Biggs. And it really encouraged me as a researcher to go, oh wow, okay. So when it came to naming the brand, it was very much the case of Stanley Biggs kept popping up, and I thought, it's a memorable name, and there's a story to be told.
And it feels really like of that era.
Because it is. Yeah. I mean, he was born in 1919.
Yeah.
He was killed in 1944. And in consequence of starting the brand, more information has come to light about him. I now, and it was only last year, so 2025, his great nephew got in touch, and he was researching his granddad.
Yeah.
So Stanley's brother.
Yeah.
And he emailed. It was a lovely email. And he just said, I can't believe, I've just randomly thought I want to research my granddad.
Yeah.
Typed in his name and Biggs, and
all of that.
Your website came up, and he goes, and I know Stanley as my uncle, as my great uncle. The one thing that had always eluded me was there was a photo of Stan.
Yeah.
And it's essentially a screenshot from some original footage.
Yeah.
But I hadn't any other photos of him.
But the nephew was able
the
to
family
provide.
have sent a photo of Stan, which is like a portrait.
Yeah.
And I was able to explain to them. They said, he's not in uniform. I said, actually he is. It's when he was well before. So he's in KDs, so he's in the Middle East.
Yeah. Somewhere
in the Middle East. But yeah, so there's a lot of history surrounding everything I do.
Yeah.
I read history at uni.
Yeah.
I went to Canterbury, and I only went to Canterbury so I could graduate in the cathedral. There's obviously other reasons as well. It's a really good university.
To be fair, I've heard worse reasons to pick a university than
my
that.
choices were, Canterbury's an amazing city, a lovely city, and I loved it. It was fantastic, and I had a few other choices. Yeah. And the other choices just didn't have a cathedral. Yeah. so I went to Canterbury instead. And thinking about it as well, when I was, because I'm a Midlander, I'm born in Leicester, though I've been there about 3 times, I confess. So I know Leicestershire more. Yeah. And I live in the Midlands again, and went to school in Norfolk as well. So I've always kind of stayed in sort of in the middle part of England, and I escaped down to Kent, which was just the furthest I could possibly get from family and all the rest of it, and of course it's the Battle of Britain, home of. Yeah. So again, I was just surrounded by fighter pilots and fighter history and Spitfires and Hurricanes and again, living history played a part. So I was collecting militaria from a very young age. Yeah. My granddad was in the RAF, so I was going to go in the RAF as well. And so I was surrounded by and going to all these events, for air shows, Biggin Hill and Hawkins, which is an amazing museum.
And obviously the shop is based in Newark-upon-Trent, which isn't far from Bomber County.
Bomber County, I know. So I think there's a bit of a, I'd love to say I'm unpredictable, but I don't think I am.
It works out quite well in the fact that you do a lot of interesting stuff in how you promote the clothes.
on social media. So you've done like a film, and there's lots of, you use your cars and also friends' cars and stuff to really give like a proper authentic experience of like these clothes are not only beautiful, but they are designed so that if you are open top motoring in the middle of the night,
they're perfect. Yeah.
And so being close to places like Woodall Spa and things like that is great, because there's so much great backdrops there.
And I think this is what I just love, sharing those little snippets. You know, I think when we were driving here, we went past the ball bearing factory. Which, you're thinking it's a ball bearing factory, but you think, well, actually, during the war, that was one of the main targets for Newark, and that's where, you know, the area surrounding was flattened.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't know that, you think, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, it's just an industrial estate.
Yeah.
You think there's still history there, and English Civil War history, of course, with Newark as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think really for myself, it's the practicality. I love getting out and doing it. There's limitations to that, you know, and it's only really until recently that we've, you know, managed to get the car that we wanted and restore it, and moving forwards, people will see more of us in our cars again, because we've got them. I mean, I had an little Austin 7, and that was actually my first car. First old car was an Austin 7. I thought, well, if it's good enough for McLaren and Sterling Moss, I'll start there. That's fine. And again, you know, it's basic, as you said. You can see everything. It's and for me, I'm so small anyway. I can just jump in an Austin 7.
Because a lot of people see them as these ideal starter pre-war things, but they are tiny, aren't they?
They're very small. Yeah.
Like part of what, because you sold that first one, and part of that was because it wasn't really as usable as you needed it to be.
Not really. No, I mean, we did a lot. We took all the seating out, everything.
Yeah, you had to make all these adjustments.
We had to do that I'm 5'3", and my husband's 6'4". So it is literally the extreme of one car or the other. So there's very few cars that we're both comfortable in. And the Austin, Gary could not get behind he could get behind the steering wheel, but he couldn't actually move the steering wheel. Because there just wasn't any room. His knees locked up the steering wheel. So, and I kind of felt, you know, bearing in mind he's got his Jeep, he's got a Hillman. He didn't bother with worrying about what I didn't have. I'm just going to say that there, but I felt terrible for having something that he couldn't drive. So, and at the time I needed the money to put into the business, and that was 2019, I think it was. And a friend of mine, who will remain nameless, but he knows who he is if he listens to this. He said, I know that you'll get it, that, you know, you've got to get rid. I was like, I really don't want to do it, but, you know, I need the money to put in the business. And he said, look, he goes, you'll buy another car. Because, and when you do, you'll know that you've made it. That you know that you're doing well. So me getting this Austin 7 last year, it kind of sort of closed that chapter. It's the next level now for me, and it's the type of Austin that I wanted, which I couldn't afford at the time, because of course things have dropped a little in price, and I'm a bit more confident. So instead of just buying one that's ready to go, and you know, and then
you've got
doing
the one
a few
that you
bits.
want, that you can then actually do a few other bits
We've ripped it apart.
Oh, amazing!
So we got it down to its chassis. We're working on all of that. So, and I've learnt so much because I'm just doing it from scratch. And you know, Gary's there helping, explaining what we need, and we're talking to everyone. You know, just ask so many questions. But then, you know, before then, we've also had saloons as well. So there's things with roofs and windscreens are always good.
They're a good addition.
They are. and that's where my Morris Minor came about, because I was using the Austin 7 for my everyday.
Yeah.
And you know, so I was driving to Sainsbury's, parking up and with all the shopping for the week in the back.
Yeah.
And which was fine. It was, you know, not a problem. If it rains, you just, you know, you just wear a Stanley Biggs jumper and you're fine.
Absolutely.
But it was the case of just being constantly stopped.
Yeah.
Is that your car? Do you know what it is? Yeah.
No, I don't. I just found it in a field, and I thought I'd bring it to Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, because if it was a guy that was in Sainsbury's doing his weekly shopping with an Austin 7, would he get asked if he knew what it was?
Probably not. Probably not. No. And I mean, just having a Morris Minor doesn't stop that now, because of course there's a younger generation. That generation now is, oh, my dad had one of these.
Yeah.
You know, and it's lovely. You know, it is nice to.
They are quite comparable in the fact that there is a generation for each of them where it is a case of somebody always knows somebody who had one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I had a granddad who had an Austin 7 and my dad had a Morris Minor kind of thing. It's the same.
Yeah. I mean, my mum had a Morris Minor.
Yeah.
So I grew up. Sorry, I should have told you this. I've just had another childhood memory come back. So my mum had a lovely cream and red interior Traveller, wooden.
Oh wow!
Wooden Traveller, and I vaguely remember it. She had to get rid because she was pregnant with my sister. She couldn't get behind the steering wheel. Oh. But I vaguely remember that. Yeah. But she went everywhere in that.
Yeah.
But that would have been in the late 80s.
Yeah.
80s, 90s. So actually, it was only 20 years old.
Yeah. And at the time, so I've got brochures and stuff from then of spares of places. And
yes.
There was tons of them.
Oh yeah.
And there was
everywhere.
So much availability. And loads of places that worked almost exclusively on. The guy that did the restoration for this started his business then. Right. And it was a case of he was able to just do really basic MOT essentially welds and things like that.
Perfect.
Which was great for then learning to do the much bigger stuff that he now does later on. And he's like, it's crazy that when I first started working on them, they were
10 a penny.
Cheap runabouts. People were just getting them through MOTs and things like that. And now, you're spending X amount on getting it completely restored. Yeah. In the same way that people do with pre-war cars and other stuff.
And Austin Healey's.
Yes.
So I personally, if someone wanted to get into old cars, look for a Morris Minor or an A35, A40. Mind you, the Austin, because they're raced now, so they've gone up. And Morris Minors have seemed to be the quiet hero of. Yeah,
they've stayed. I mean, they've gone up, but not at the rate.
They're reasonable.
Well, yeah, you could. And you could buy one as your everyday car.
You could and enjoy it, and it's it smells the same. It's got know.
We were saying on the way over here that the perfect 2-car garage for someone who loves cars is something affordable and runnable from the 50s or 60s, like a Morris Minor, and then a pre-war open top car to just go and do crazy stuff on the weekend.
Yeah. Go and wear your headscarf and
your Stanley Biggs outfit.
And your Stanley Biggs outfit, of course. I mean, with the Morris Minor that I had, we did we always go on trips anyway. But we went to. I had this one particular week, 2 weeks. Yeah. Mad 2 weeks of just driving everywhere. Yeah. In the Moggy, and it was. This was planned, but it's always been my backup. Yeah. Which is the irony. We have more trouble with our modern cars. Yeah. And the van that we have for work. We have more. It's constantly in and out of the garage. Yeah. And this one particular time, it let me down. and I thought, well, I'm still going down to see my friend in Crawley. So I went, well, it's fine, I'll just avoid the motorway.
Yeah.
And I ended up from Derbyshire, going all the way down.
Through the back roads.
And I went through some lovely places.
Yeah.
Like I went through Henley at some point. I thought, this is nice. Where's this? I thought it was the Henley Regatta was on. So everyone was like, what on earth is this? Hello, just driving through. And that was, that's really, you'd think most people would go, you did that? You know. It's like, oh yeah, that's normal. That's normal for me. But it never let me down. Yeah. I think that's the key. And if it did, it's like, well, actually, I've got the base information that I can open the bonnet and
go.
I know what I know what I'm doing.
I mean, even on the way here, so I was passing on the other side of the road. I saw what I think was a Ford Sierra.
Okay.
In like all of its like, it had like some crazy body kit on it. So that's why I'm like, I think it was a Ford Sierra. Yeah. But it had some it had a huge great wing on the back of it.
It was once known as a Ford Sierra. Yeah.
Bright white, and it was broken down at the side of the road. And you see the guy had got the bonnet up and he was looking in. And even with that, he didn't really look like he knew that he could do anything about whatever had happened to him. Yeah. And that's only 20 years or so after this. But I mean, maybe the body kit was making it harder to get to certain parts. I don't know, but it was truly something else and it was a case of he was looking underneath. But with this and with the stuff that you do with the pre-war cars, it's a case of as long as you've got the basics in there, have a go and
and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong, and you've got a funny story to tell at the end of it, and always take lots of clothing, bit of food, absolutely. I mean, when the other car on the Mission Rally broke down, I was like, right, I had sandwiches, I had sausage rolls, sweets, coffee. Yeah. And I had to point out, I said, look, I didn't expect this, but I planned for this eventuality. And if we don't need it, it's the emergency pack of food doesn't come out. But
it's that prepared to fail. You kind of fail to prepare.
Yeah, and I think you just take it in your. That's part of it. Yeah, that's part of the experience. But there was one I mentioned, this 2-week trip. And it ended in Scotland. Yeah. Which near the Outer Hebrides.
Okay, so quite a trip.
Yeah, so there's a place called Mallaig, which is it's the very end of the Jacobite line, so the Harry Potter train. It goes all the way to Mallaig, which is one stop from the Isle of Skye. Yeah. So it's way up there on the west coast. Yeah. And we drove the Moggy up to there. Yeah. After I had done a bit of a round trip. Yeah. So we'd gone down to Stoneleigh. Yep. For a show. So Gary took the trade stand in the van. I took the Moggy. I then carried on from my little girly weekend with my friends. Yeah. To Bath. And then I drove all the way back, got home, unpacked, repacked, and drove up to Scotland. And then we had a few days up there, touring Scotland in the Moggy, and then drove all the way back.
It doesn't matter which old car you choose. If you're doing any sort of trip like that in an old car, like the journey feels like an adventure.
It really does.
Yeah. Actually getting to the place. Yeah. Even if you're really confident in the car and you're really like me, use it every day. You know that if something's going to go wrong, well, it's probably going to happen.
You just have to listen as well. You'll know there'll be something. That's the other thing I'm quite good at is, for Gary anyway. We'll be sitting there and I'll go, something's not right. I can hear something. Yeah. That's just changed, and I've got very sensitive hearing to that.
Yeah, you use all of your senses.
Yeah, and you just have to be very, it's great having music on. Yeah. And it's good fun, but I would say if you're learning a car, getting to know it, don't have music. Just listen to the engine.
Yeah.
Listen to what it's telling you or what it isn't telling you. I'm just actually remembering everything else we've had. We had a Defender.
Yeah.
So we did Scotland in that. That was fine. It was nicknamed Smeg. It was a fridge.
Yep. Okay.
Absolutely Baltic.
Yeah.
And damp and wet.
They are quite an experience to do a distance.
I love them. I mean, I felt like the Queen.
Yeah.
Because I was just tiny. Like I think I was the same height as Queen Elizabeth, and he's sitting in this Land Rover, it's exactly the same model she had, this tiny little thing jumping out. I mean, I had to climb up into this. But I love that. But we got rid of that. That's actually the couple who bought it off of us. They went and toured Europe in it.
Wow.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I always wanted a Landy.
Yeah.
But again, we thought, well, let's get something else, change for something, and I wanted this Austin. Yeah. I know it's kind of predictable, but they are good fun.
So how has your experiences out doing all of these adventures in the cars influenced what you've made in terms of the clothes and things?
Oh, well, I mean, I've always sweared by knitwear.
Yeah.
And a good jumper. This just solidified every time we go out in it.
Yeah.
Even a car with heating and what have you, thinking just with the place that we live.
Yeah. And it's a case of,
and if you do break down,
that's it. I was talking to a girl the other week at the Women Drivers Social Club, and she was like, when I bought this car, it came with her sister had bought a house, and there was a vintage fur coat in the house that was the perfect size for her but needed work, and so she'd had it looked over by a furrier, all fixed up and lovely, and extra pockets put on the inside and stuff. And I was like, that is a perfect breakdown coat.
Yeah. Because
it would be so warm if you're stood at the side of the road, and lo and behold, I cursed them and they broke down on the way home from the event.
But she was warm.
But she was like, you were right though, that coat was perfect.
It's perfect.
But it's having those really warm layers and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's
because the knitwear range at the unit is vast.
It's getting there now.
And you've got some more stuff coming in.
I have. Yes. So
you had to edit.
I did. I had to
edit the displays a bit because you're like, oh no,
change the mannequin. Change the mannequin. For it's a play on this design. With the hoops, which is this design in particular. It's a terrible photograph. The quality is so poor.
Yeah.
And it might even be a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. And it's this amazing chap. It's like a handlebar moustache. It looks like the one on the matchbooks.
Yeah.
Or the matchboxes from years ago, with the Victorian kind of. And he's got this roll neck.
Yeah.
It's much tighter on him, so he's kind of sort of bodybuilder type.
Yeah.
And it's this exact design. I thought that's really nice, but that's it. There's no other clues of colour, because it's just black and white.
Yeah.
But this has been a really popular design, and what we tried to do is, I will really pick and choose what we're going to go with.
Yeah.
And then we'll do variants of, very much like with old time design. You think, right, let's perfect something.
Yeah.
And then let's see what we can, sort of adjust to give a different option.
Yeah.
So there'll be this design.
Yeah.
With different colourways. So so I'm looking forward to that, and then of course everyone who is a customer and uses the jumpers in their own way, whether that be with their own vintage cars, or we have a lot of aviators as well. Some of them have open top cockpits, some of them don't. We have a lot of people who are very active and and they go walking and climbing, and then you've just got people that just really appreciate their styling. That's how that's what they identify with, and they all feed back in to me what they like, what they want, what they're lacking, and then of course, you know, I've got my own desires as well of, you know, oh, this would be fantastic for what we're doing.
So has the upcoming trip inspired anything? The trip
really good question.
Because obviously you've been relying a lot on like layers.
I know,
and
this is ironic.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But actually,
yes,
you can need a whole new wardrobe.
Yeah. So when I first started the brand, Old Time Design was still running now. It was the lead brand, and the busy time for Old Time Design is the summer.
Yeah.
So and
people
it's
going to reenactments,
exactly,
and 40s weekends, and all of those sorts of things.
That's it, and it kind of drops off in the winter. So that was another. I thought, well, this is perfect. We can set up another brand.
Yeah.
That's busiest in the off season, as it were. We didn't think that there was actually, then there's just no respite for us, but we didn't think that far. But never mind. But you're right, you know, I literally went, right, layers, wool, as much as possible. And again, you know, to a certain extent, you can wear this all year round.
In an open top car, it doesn't matter, how warm it is, you're still going to need some stuff. But in the Sahara, that's going to be
in
a
the
little
Sahara,
different.
and of course, you know, as the brand grew, the audience at the locations of our customer base have expanded.
Yeah.
We have a lot in Italy. There's a lot in United Arab Emirates as well.
Oh, okay.
Australia is a big customer base. America, of course, where, you know, the seasons are so variable. And there was this demand quite early on of, you know, we love wool, but could you do us cotton or a lighter weight, linen, etc. So we'd already been there, so we're already in that space where we've been working on, you know, cotton shirts. The trousers we've made into linen, slacks and other cottons and cords, for instance. Wool is still the most popular, because it is season round.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing with summer weight things, is that they have to go away for a few months of the year. Whereas, you know, and if you're making an investment, because they are investment pieces, some people actually go, well, actually, I'd rather have something I can wear all year round. Yeah. Because I'm investing that amount of money. So it's still, you know, people will still be wearing wool throughout the summer. But this particular trip hasn't ironically influenced, because we didn't really plan the Sahara trip. Yeah. It kind of came up. So it's been a mad dash.
To get the vehicle ready. And
to get the vehicle ready
with everything else. And
yeah. So we weren't really, so it hasn't actually impacted, because you work far in advance. Yeah. So the jumper that I was having to hide for the benefit of, or not for the benefit of your viewers, that will be coming out in September, October. So we're working months and months and months, and sometimes years in advance. Yeah. Because things do take time to develop.
So watch this space for like 3 years' time, when you've got like a Sahara inspired line.
But we will have things coming that fortunately will work perfectly, work beautifully.
But as it is, this podcast is coming out in the beginning of February, so all of those jumpers that people are desperately after,
they're all available,
ready and waiting.
They're all available, and it's and I think, you know, that's the other thing, is I think that's one of the main differences with what we do, is, you know, when I post or when I talk about this particular jumper or that particular pair of trousers, and say, oh, these are really good for XYZ, and list what they're great for and what they're practical for, you can kind of trust that they've been through a ringer. I mean, 3 or two different designs of art, so a roll neck and the Gansey designs that we have. So this design and then the Gansey one, which is like a fisherman's jumper. That I swear by it for climbing up mountains. Yeah. Because I went and did Ben Nevis. Yeah. In my knitwear. And I mean, it was every season. It was a complete whiteout up there. Yeah. So you think, what other? There's not many brands that say, yeah, you know, but have you really? And you go, actually, yes, I have. You know, I've driven. Well, we drove across to Luxembourg, drove across Belgium and France, in the Austin 7 that we had. Yeah. All in the roll necks and.
Stayed nice and warm and everything.
Lovely and warm. Yeah. Soaking wet by the end of it, but because there's no roof and windscreen. I mean, there's only so much a wool jumper can do. Yeah. But you know, and you're out in it for 8-10 hours.
It's a great example of there isn't the wrong weather; it's the wrong clothing.
Yeah, and that's it.
You've lived that and experienced that, and it's influenced what you brought in.
It does, you know, and I think what the nice thing is, it's, you know, it's authentic and it's genuine, and yes, of course, you know, there's going to be you know, when we have models, very often they're friends or, you know, individuals who are genuinely passionate about what they do, you know. So if you see in a photo shoot that we do, there's a chap holding a guitar, he's playing it. Yeah. He's a guitar player. If there's a guy in a car,
It's his car.
He's
out using it and using the clothes within it.
I mean, we've not got round to it yet, but we had a customer's tattoo artist, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to do something." It's like, yeah, okay, great, you know. But you're thinking that's not him pretending to tattoo someone. That's what he does for a living, you know. And I think that's what I like. You know, and occasionally, yes, you know, you've got to say, well, can you just put this jumper on for us, because you guys want to see what it looks like and how it fits, and but it's a real environment, you know, and they're real people. They're not models. They look great, you know, and they're lovely and they're genuine, and very often if they aren't friends already, they become friends. Yeah. And you know, but they will. I mean, there was one, Thomas. Bless him, I said, oh, can you come and can we do this? And it was actually for the Loxley. Yeah. And we said we're going to go walking and hiking, and he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, fine. Anyway, it was 8 miles, all in Stanley Biggs stuff, and it was fine. You know, it was not a problem. But you're thinking that's a lot to do just for a photo. So, and I just feel like we don't cheat. We probably make it harder. We definitely make it harder. Yeah. For ourselves. You know, but you know, you start putting a vehicle into a photo shoot, you think it's going to go wrong. Yeah. You know, it's going to go wrong.
Never work with children, animals, or pre-war cars.
Yeah. And unless you really, you know, want to make life difficult for yourself. And with with older cars as well, particularly like with the sports cars, like the Singer you've got and the Hillman that we've got. You've got these lovely trousers, and you're sitting very close to something that potentially could spurt out a load of oil. Yeah. But we always take that into consideration, and that's the practicalities of it. You think, well, actually, I'd much rather have something that's a natural fibre that I can wash. Yeah. So they're great. They belong together. Yeah. You know, I'm a firm believer in making sure that you are still comfortable and confident. Yeah. Because if you're comfortable, you become confident, and I think that's the case with if you start to get to grips with a new car, or if you think, actually, I really like that jumper, and I'm going to go for the size that fits. Yeah. Not the size I want, or I've been told that fits me. Yeah. If you become comfortable, you just, you know, you'll sit up straighter. You know, you exude more confidence, and that, you know, just starts to become who you are and your identity, and
really nice messages, I think.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see how passionate you are about both the cars and the business side of things and how they interact, and just being authentic about the use of the clothing and it fitting into the lifestyle.
Yes.
It's like you experienced the lifestyle, you saw a gap in what was needed. And
I think, not even that, because people sort of go, oh, how do you come up with the designs and things? And
well, you saw pictures of stuff and you were like, I want that. And
it sounds awful, and I think, and I mean, we were chatting about you with the podcast.
Yeah.
This is, you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it, and you think, actually, I'd love to. Yes, okay, it's great if it becomes something else, but I think if you start something with the intention of making it big, and I'm going to make lots of money out of this, and okay, fine, but what else is there? What else
Where's
are you
the
doing
enjoyment
it for?
element coming from? And
and I think as well, I do find it. I find it so interesting when people say to me, "Oh, you're so passionate about the clothing."
Yeah.
And I genuinely don't feel as if I am. I think any job there's always things there. It's like with cars, people, you must love it. And you're thinking, most of the time, my hands are ditched.
Yeah.
Covered in oil. I'm cold. My knees are absolutely knackered because I'm just constantly on the floor fixing something.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a ramp. And you think, no, I'm not. Absolutely not. You're thinking, actually, you are. Because you're so dedicated doing it.
To put up with all of that, you have to be.
You have to be passionate. But there's different levels of like enthusiasm and passion and what have you. And I think if you just quietly get on with it and you enjoy it and you do it for you.
Yeah.
And see where that takes you. But I mean, it's like with the brand. It's in its 7th year now.
Yeah.
And it's like that. It blows my mind that I, who has no fashion training whatsoever. I mean, I collected old stuff.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and go, oh, I know what pattern that is, and and I know that this is made of wool, and American uniforms are different because X, Y, Z, and British, and all of that. That's really the only educate, and that's all self-educate. It's just me buying it and researching it and reading about it. And I did history. I didn't.
And so that precision and that finding the
but
details
so many
and
people,
digging it down.
So many people say, oh, so did you go to university and did you read fashion and this, that, and I'm like, no, I don't do any of that. What did you? Did you always want to do this? No, didn't know if I wanted to do it or not.
Yeah.
The only thing I knew is I didn't want to work for someone.
Yeah.
And that only came like later on. I thought, I'm sick and tired of this. Yeah. And I kind of fell into sales.
Yeah.
As well, and I thought I'm just really bored of earning money for other people.
Yeah.
For stuff that I'm really not interested in. I did a good job, but I was selling data and things. Yeah. You think, God, who wants to sell data in like it's the new oil?
Yeah.
I was selling facial recognition apps when it was
such a change.
When it didn't exist.
Something that you actually
it was such
and interested in, and to then continue to develop it.
And I tell you what, from when I stopped chasing, you think, oh, I need this job for the mortgage and X, Y, Z. And yes, of course, you need all of those things, and you do need a foundation and security. But once I got that set up, and Gary and I, getting settled together, and contentment had, happened, and you built your nest and what have you. The things that make us happy have been born from us going, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I would rather have less and work for myself. And yes, it's these links back to my granddad and you know, the first time, you know, sort of the memory of sitting in this Morris with my mum.
Yeah.
I've literally, I mean, I can't believe that I didn't even know I had that memory until now. And it is literally just like sat in the back.
Yeah, and it's triggered it. Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? Because you know, I've never sat in the back of a Moggy Minor.
Really? A lot of people haven't, and a lot of people don't really use their back seats and stuff for things. And so it was interesting that when I did up the back seat and made it sure it was comfortable for the people that were going in the back.
I mean, I don't even know what mine's like. I've never sat in it.
Well, I had a friend that sat in mine and was like, this is really bad. And I was like, you've just not sat in an old car before.
Yeah.
And then my sister, who obviously had sat in an old car before, sat in the back and said, this is really bad. And I was like, okay, I'll do something about it then.
We had a standard flying 12. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And it was Gary had it. And eventually, Gary kept going around in circles like, oh, I'll get this, I'll get that. Like, what is it you actually want? What car do you actually want? Because we're messing around with, you know, ones that are okay. You know, I don't get excited by them. What do you want? And he was, oh, I really want this Hillman Aero. I was like, right, okay, let's look for one and see if it's going to be viable. But the standard, the back seat was like an armchair. And it had like this proper, you know, pull down bit. See, it had cigarette, not that you would smoke in the car anymore, but it had these amazing cigarette holders and, you know, sort of these
handle
I call them shit handles. But yeah, I mean, it's a lovely car. That was 1937.
Yeah.
That's actually, we used that in the film The Chase that I did.
So where can people find The Chase?
That's on YouTube.
That's on YouTube.
It's available to watch on YouTube.
All the clothes and stuff in that are.
Yes, there's a mixture. So we and I always do this where
because the reality is when people are buying stuff, they're mixing it in with
absolutely,
probably authentic bits from the period or their own collection and things like that.
Yeah, and the film itself, it's set kind of in the 50s, I'd say. But there's a lot of vibes, you know, 30s vibes.
Yeah.
The two leads are wearing head to toe Stanley Biggs, but we've then mixed it up a bit with some original pieces.
Yeah.
Because we don't do everything, you know. And there's people in the world that make the best of something else, and
no point competing with that.
No, I mean, it's like this flying jacket, which it's new to me.
Yeah.
And I bought this second hand actually, but it's aero leather clothing, and they're amazing, you know. And I think that's my philosophy. Thinking, well, if someone's already making it, champion them, you know.
Yeah.
Give them a shout out, because there's no way I'm going to be able to make a jacket, and ironically, unless I go to them and say, "Could you make me this jacket?" And then I will relabel it. You know, it's as simple as that. But you know, and there's always avenues for that, which is great. And particularly, you know, with British manufacturing, you do have to support each other.
Yeah.
And make sure that you give everyone a shout out. It's like with our button makers. You know, without them, literally our clothing would not work. Our trousers could not be worn. And you know, that's Courtney and Co. They're down they're near Broughton on the Water, which is that lovely museum where Brum is.
Lives,
but yeah, so there's always these little small cottage industries and businesses, and you all, you know, have to shout out. But yeah, the reality is that, you know, it's like Ralph Lauren. You're not 100% Ralph Lauren all the time. You'll have a choice piece, and you know, I acknowledge that, and I accept that as well. You know, I'm very often I wear something that's not designed by us or by me. It's a little egotistical, isn't it? And you sort of walk in and it's lovely when people, particularly with the jeans that we've got, the Woodville jeans, ladies' jeans, because it is largely a men's clothing brand. I thought, I'm sick and tired of not having a pair of jeans that fit me.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll just sod it, I'll just design one.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and I mean, it's along about it's a very long-winded way of getting a pair of jeans that I want. Just design them and produce hundreds of them for other people. But I occasionally get people coming up to me say, "Oh, I really like those jeans.
Where do you get them from?"
Where do you get them from?
Oh, well, actually.
And that's quite an awkward thing, because it's starting to happen a bit now.
Yeah.
Where that happens more, and you know, I saw it's Stanley Biggs and what have you, and I did it I was seeing Postmodern Jukebox.
Oh right, yeah.
So Jack Amblin is the drummer for the European tour, and he's a lovely chap. He's actually been modelled for us and plays the washboard and what have you. And bless him, he said, "Oh, we're playing locally, do you want to come along?" So we went along, and we were having drinks before this lady came over. "Oh, I love your jeans. Where'd you get them from?" I said, "Oh, it's a brand called Stanley Biggs." And that was it. I didn't say anything else. And I'd met up with a friend who was also seeing Jack. He went, "That's your brand. This is the owner of Stanley Biggs. She's designed these jeans." And I was like, "Oh, I just want to have a drink, you know, and, you know, give her the card, and or, you know, let her find us on Instagram, that kind of thing." Anyway, like an hour later, because I can't not talk. So she's lovely, you know. She's carried on and bought the jeans, but she was a musician as well. And, we have a lot of musicians, and that amazes me.
Because I guess like having clothes that are durable and breathe and work with you,
hard wearing
like
as well.
Is really important to them as much as it is to people that are out in their cars. And
it's amazing how, you know, where someone will look at something, and bearing in mind as well, you know, I've designed it, I've come up with the concept, I've figured out, can we produce it, how can we produce it, you know, what's the best way, the longevity element of it, because a lot of these things where, you know, people say, "Oh, they're not made like they used to be." Agreed, but there was an element where things were a little overcomplicated because they didn't have the machinery at the time. Whereas now we do, you know, with knitwear, for instance, the best thing to have is as little seams as possible, because it's not going to pull away, and therefore it lasts you longer. And whether that's, you know, a couple of extra years, or you don't know yet, because, you know, there's wool jumpers I've got at 80 years old. You're thinking, how much longer are they going to last? I don't know. But there's things that you can improve where you go, actually, it looks the same, but it's a bit stronger. Let's go for that. Because we want to give people something that lasts as long as possible.
So the chase is on YouTube to watch.
It is.
You guys are on Instagram and
we're on everything,
Facebook and all of that, so that people can see the clothes in use, being worn,
used and abused,
as well as
tested,
promoted. And then people can order their clothes online through Stanley Biggs, but they can also book to come and try stuff on. You're really not far off the A1.
We're not,
because I obviously travelled up today, and it was like, oh, it's 30 something miles, and then take the exit, and then it's 2 miles off.
That's it.
The A1, if that.
So it's where the roads converge. So it's the A46, the A1, the A17. So it's Newark. It's we're in a we've got lots of parking. So it's straight outside, and our showroom has everything on show. Even the pieces that we haven't launched. So if you do come, you'll see things that no one's seen before. And that, again, that's another way that we get feedback, you know, from people, where I'll often do it, you know, I'll leave something out and,
oh, what's that kind of thing?
Oh, that's nice. Oh, good.
That's good to know.
I'm glad that you said that, because I've ordered 150.
So they can contact you through Instagram and stuff like that to book in. Although occasionally you have open days, but
we do, and we will intend on we said this last year when we moved, because we only moved to Newark in February of 2025. We had high hopes and full intentions of doing open days and drive outs and sort of navigation days out and visiting all the sites that we've mentioned, you know, Bomber County and all the rest of it. But personal circumstances keep kind of getting in the way. So once our life is sorted and organised, we will be doing those as well. And then
so again, tying that all in together and
yes, that's
having
it.
a great day out in your car, and also getting some great equipment for yourself to enjoy the day out.
Definitely. And in the meantime, what we're doing, because we can't share that with everyone, you know, in a physical way at the moment, where we're asking people to come to us on set days, we're really expanding the historic focus. But because we don't want to dilute, you know, the clothing and you know what people are really wanting to, you know, they come to Stanley Biggs Clothiers to look at the clothing. We've extended it into another account, which is Geek of History, and that's where we'll start, you know, going out on day trips and visiting our favourite places, and, or covering the trip that we're doing and our mad adventures.
Absolutely.
So we would have done Measham, but I had my head.
It's a little hard. It's really hard to collect content whilst you're also working hard to make sure you're going the right way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, but now we have sight of what we want to achieve, and you know we've got the cars, our dream cars that we want. Everyone will start to see and be able to experience that online, and because you know the reality is we probably have 50-50 cut of, you know, sort of UK followers and customers to overseas, and we want everyone to enjoy and be able to follow along. So we're prioritising the online presence over our physical stores and pop-ups and trade shows and things.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Be sure to go and check it out. I know that I have a lot of pre-war watchers on here, so hopefully this will help you out with some of your wardrobes for keeping warm in your vehicles.
Definitely.
So a really fantastic talk, and I hope you enjoyed it as well, and you learned lots of things, enjoyed some of the fantastic stories that Sophie has from her years in pre-war cars, really. That wraps it up for this week. Next week I will be back with the second part of my FBHVC video, and in the meantime, thank you ever so much for listening. Drive safely and happy motoring.